Hello children, today in EVS 1 class we are going to learn the new lesson, lesson number 3, storage of water. Children, as we all know, rain is the main source of water. We get water from the rain and water is very important for our life. So, children, we know that the rainy season lasts for 4 months. As we have learnt in the previous lesson, June, July, August and September are the months of rainy season. But we need water every day. So, how is it possible? So, children, all the living things use the rainwater all year round. For this, we have to store the rainwater and keep for the rest of the month of the year. If we do not store water, we will not have enough water for our needs. That is why we have to save water. So, water is very important in our life. Water must be used economically. That means we are not supposed to waste it. We have to use it sparingly. So, by this we understand that the main source of water is rain and we have to save this rainwater and use it throughout the year. In this lesson, we will see different ways of storing water. Storage of water is divided into two types, that is old water stores and recent systems. So children, the storage of water is divided into two types, old water stores and recent systems. Old water stores, the name itself tells us that the methods used to store in the olden days. Recent systems means the storage systems used in recent days. So, let us study one by one. First, we will study the old water stores. In the olden days, several methods of storing water were used in our state. So, which is our state, children? Maharashtra. So, in the olden days, several methods of storing water were used in Maharashtra state. Nowadays, these old water stores are rarely used. However, their remains can be seen in all places. So, that is, nowadays we are not using this old storage methods. Why? Because now we are using pipelines. So, it is very easy for using this type of methods. Some of these water storage systems are seen in some places, that is historical places. When we visit as tourists, we could get to see this type of water storage methods. There are 6 types of old water stores. So, how many types are there? There are 6 types of old water stores. So, first one is wells. Second one, water tanks in forts. Third one, draw wells. It is also known as AAD. A-A-D. Fourth one, rivers and bunds. And fifth one, old reservoirs. And sixth one, old tanks. It is also known as HOUD. H-O-U-D. So children, the 6 types of old water stores are wells, water tanks in forts, draw wells, rivers and bunds, old reservoirs and old tanks. So these are the 6 types of old water stores. Now let me explain these old water stores one by one. First one, wells. Students, you must have seen a well. Yes, we live in the city, so here we get water through pipelines. Yes, children? Yes, we get water through the pipes. When we on the pipe, directly we get the water. So, here rarely we get to see the wells. But in villages, people get water from the wells. Yes, so children, from where do these wells get water? So you must have seen in the villages, the people are drawing water from the wells. But from where do these wells get water? Yes, from rain, isn't it? During rainy season, the rainwater fills rivers, reservoirs, ponds, etc. But some water seeps into the ground. So, it goes deep inside the ground. When we dig a well, we get this water. So, the well water is available throughout the year. That is, the rainwater is collected in the deep under the ground. So, when we dig the wells, we get this water. So, that is why the well water is available throughout the year. Next is the water tanks in forts. Children, you know what is a fort? Yes, people lived on the hill forts in the past. So, in your EVS 2 lesson, you are learning about Shivaji Maharaj. Yes, children? So, during that time, Shivaji Maharaj has built many forts. Can you name a few? Tell me. Shivneri, Raigad, yes? So, if you visit these places, you get to see the water tanks in these forts also. Here, the people were using this water. So, the people, those who are living on the forts, they also need water. So, what they used to do? They were building tanks on the forts and they used to collect the water, that is, collect the rainy water, and this water is used later when there is no rain. So, this is the water tanks in forts. Third one is draw wells. It is also known as AAD. So, in the past, draw wells were dug to get drinking water. They were small wells from which water was drawn using a small pot called pora, P-O-H-R-A. This pora is tied to a rope. So look at the picture, children. It is called draw well. So draw well is nothing but a well, but it is a small well. So from which water was drawn using a small pot called pora, and this pora is tied to a rope. Yes. Now Atpadi, a place in Sangli district, had a draw well in every house. But when tap water system was introduced, the draw wells went out of use. So now there are very few left in Atpadi. So you know that in the olden days people were using this draw wells. But later, when the tap water system was introduced, the draw wells went out of use. So now there are very few left in Atpadi. If you visit Atpadi, we could see very few draw wells there. So Atpadi is in Sangli district. Now, fourth old water storage system is rivers and bunds. So you know about rivers. Children, rivers are starting from the mountain region and it flows down and at last reaches the sea. So rivers give water to the people who live in the areas from where it flows. So when the rivers are flowing, we get water from it. So at this time, people build earthen or cement bunds across the rivers to store their water. So they store this river water by building earthen or cement bunds across the rivers. So they collect this river water so that they can use this water later when there is scarcity for water. Next one is old reservoirs. So reservoirs were built in the areas of low rainfall or in areas without a major river. And if there is heavy rain and if there is major river flowing through their areas, there is no need to build a reservoir. But if there is no major river, then the people are building reservoirs. So most of the reservoirs were built using stone or mortar. Okay, so the reservoirs are built using stone or mortar. The rainwater is collected and can be used later. So this is a permanent place, what we can call, that is a reservoirs are permanent. They are building and keeping. So when the rain comes, this water is collected in the reservoir and it can be used later. Next, old tanks. It is also known as houd, H-O-U-D. So you know, children, tanks means you have seen many tanks in your buildings or in the villages also. So tanks are built to store the water. So in the olden days also, tanks were used to store water. By building big tanks, people used to store the water. Some large cities still have these old tanks and some of them are still in use. So the olden tanks are used now also in some of the cities. One of such tank is a tank in Aurangabad city. So the tanks are nothing but the place where the people build it for collecting the water. So children, we have learnt the old water stores. They are wells, water tanks in forts, draw wells, or it is also known as ard, rivers and bunds, old reservoirs and old tanks, or it is also known as hoard. So children, which are the old water stores? They are wells, water tanks in forts, draw wells, rivers and bunds, old reservoirs and old tanks. Is that clear? Now, let us discuss about recent systems. They are dams and bore wells. There are two recent systems of storage of water, that is dams and bore wells. Water dams. Yes, students. Dams are built across the rivers. So, by stopping the river water, this water can be used by the people. The most important of all recent water storage is dam. Dams are made it possible to store huge quantities of water. So, we get water from the river. So, river has huge quantities of water. So, when we build the dams, we can use this water. As a result, more land was brought under cultivation. That is, dam water can be used for all major purposes like agriculture, for factories, and also for the production of electricity. So, you know that agriculture also needs large quantities of water, because now in India the population is increasing. So, we need more food. For that we have to grow more crops, and for growing the crops you need water. So, dams can provide large quantities of water for agriculture also, and also for factories. And by using the dam water, we can generate electricities also. Cities began to grow. It became possible to set up factories and generate electricity. So, children, Maharashtra has several large dams such as Jayakwadi, Koina, Ujjain and Eldari. So, in Maharashtra there are four main dams, which are they? Jayakwadi, Koina, Ujjain and Eldari. So, we can use this dam water for agriculture and also for factories and also to generate electricities. So, which are the four dams situated in Maharashtra? Jayakwadi, Koina, Ujjain and Eldari. You can find out exactly where these dams are located on the physical map given in your textbook. So, you can use the map and you can find out these dams where exactly they are. Now, next recent system is bore wells. So, first one is dam and the second one is bore wells. What are bore wells? Yes, children, bore wells are dug very deep into the ground. So, with the help of electric pumps, it is possible to do so. They are very deep but narrow. By using this, we can reach the water under the ground. So, these are the bore wells. So, we can pull the water from the ground by using these bore wells. Next, Panpoi. Panpoi. What is Panpoi, children? It is drinking water strands. So, people out on the roads need water when they are thirsty. So, in some places, big clay jars of drinking water are kept for the use of such people. This water is offered free of charge. No need to pay money. This is known as Panpoi. So, children, the Panpoi or drinking water stands, it is very useful. The people can drink water without paying money and they can satisfy their thirst. Have you seen this anywhere? Big pots of water, yes, are kept on the roadsides. Yes, these are set up by individuals or some of the institutions like temples, schools, etc. So, Panpois are very useful, especially during summer. So, when the people walk on the road, they feel thirsty and they get to drink water from this Panpois. So, it's very useful. So, some people they set up individually in front of their houses, or sometimes some institutions like temples and schools, they also keep this Panpois, big pot. They clean it every day and they fill new water, good drinking water in that, so that it will be helpful to the people, those who are walking through that roads. Yes. So, children, in this lesson we have learnt about storage of water. So, that is old water stores and recent systems, and also about Panpoi. So, which are the old water stores that we have learnt now? They are, the old water stores are wells, water tanks in forts, draw wells, it is also known as AAD, rivers and bunds, old reservoirs, old tanks. Yes, yes, these are the old water stores. And which are the recent water stores? The recent water stores are dams and bore wells. And which are the main dams in Maharashtra? Jayakwadi, Koyna, Ujjain and Eldari. Yes, and we have learnt about Panpoi, that is a drinking water stands. So, children, we have completed this lesson. Now, you have to read the textbook. So, that you can recollect all the points that we have discussed today. Thank you.